So there's an old piece of bridge that remains here from the Northwest Pacific Railroad in Larkspur. I guess that's what this area is, Larkspur. Not too far from San Quentin. Mama, I don't want to go. And it's really a cool old piece of history, this bridge. And if you've seen some other videos that I have done, and I'll link them in the video, I'll try to put a banner like right here if I remember, or in the video description. There's some tunnels and some track that I explored up near Hopland and north of Santa Rosa and stuff up there. And those were the Northwest Pacific Railroad also, so it's pretty cool. This bridge here, I guess, looking on like bridgehunter.com and places like that, Wikipedia, it seems to have been built in the 1930s, and there's an area behind me, I guess, that they called the Dirty Harry Bridge because he was in a movie and jumped off it onto some bus or something anyway. But I pass by this bridge all the time for work, and I wanted to come out for a long time now and video it with the drone just to check it out. Who knows how much longer it'll be here. And it's a cool little piece of history, so we're going to fly the drone up and out and around over the bridge. And I'm wearing a vest today in my body cam because I don't usually like flying where people are going to come interact with me, because it could be a positive or negative experience. But we're not in any controlled airspace right here. There is nothing that says that I cannot fly here. And so we're going to fly and explore a piece of this city's history and check out some cool train tracks, man. Let's get everything turned on and going.
Look what a pretty morning this is. So here is Corte Madera Creek, and this bridge, according to, places I looked up on the internet, primarily bridgehunter.com, was and is named Corte Madera Channel Drawbridge, or just the Northwest Pacific Railroad Corte Madera Bridge. That's original. Anyway, does that say F the polyp? That would be a good statement. Perhaps the person that wrote that had polyps. I don't know. But anyway, let's get on up this bridge and take a look around at this beautiful morning. This is an old bridge built in 1930. And what's really interesting, and I had no idea about this, is that I had done some railroad tunnel exploration of some abandoned tunnels up north, and they're part of the same railroad system here. And I'll link that in the video. I'll put a banner up in the video right now for you to link to those other videos. There's San Quentin in the distance. If you like top ramen and bologna sandwiches, that would be the place to check out. I don't advise it. But look how beautiful this is. It's early morning. We did have a little bit of a cloud bank that prevented the sun from coming up. It didn't prevent the sun from coming up. It prevented the sunlight from shining through and causing lots of nice early morning sunrise colors. We will get some later in the video, but that's just the way it goes here. But look at this bridge, and I pass by this every day, or most days anyway, while I'm at work, and it's just an incredible thing to sit out here. Part of it's been removed already. The Dirty Harry part of the bridge that he jumped from in a movie, which is behind me, was removed. But look at the old gear handle there in the middle. This was a manually operated bridge, it appears. It was manually opened and closed. That's pretty interesting. I guess maybe it didn't need a motor. Maybe it didn't need one. But you can still see tracks out into the distance there, and we'll look at some of those later. But let's continue to look up close at the lifted part of the bridge here. My only guess for putting all those rails on the side over there and tying them off is maybe because since the right side of the bridge still had wood and rails, it was heavier than the other side, and leaving it in the vertical position, it would throw the balance of it off. So they tied off all those old cut railroad tracks and hung them on that side. I really don't know why they would have done that, but that's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. But interestingly, when we get in closer to see these tracks, they're only held up and tied off by that one piece of track going across, and there's only 2 bolts in it, and it's actually bowing down, so gravity and weight seem to be working against that tied off pile of train track over there. But you can see the really cool wood and all the, algae and green moss or whatever that's grown into it over time. The manual handle there in the middle, just really neat, man. Let's fly over this thing and get a better look at some of the, structure part of it, the steel part of it, and the cross beams and things like that. This was just a really nice morning. I got up about 0300, which is normal for me. I wanted to get out here and get this done with some good light, and in order to do that, I had to come early so that I could beat the traffic, and then just wait, on this side of the bridge for an hour and a half or so, take a little nap, whatever. But it turns out I did get some good light for the video, but not as much as I would have liked. But there is some bits and pieces of light that shine through and really illuminate the bridge nicely. But look at all that, of course, bird poop. What bridge, that's abandoned isn't full of bird poop? Oddly enough, though, there were no birds on this bridge. Usually when I fly a bridge like this or any type of abandoned structure, especially over the water, it's full of birds. But there are no birds on this one. We do see some bird nests later on the bridge, and I'll share that with you guys. You'll see them because I do fly really close to this bridge. There was no wind today. It was just a really beautiful morning, really pretty. You can see all that age and grime, all those bolts and rivets and rust. Just really a pretty way to see this bridge that, thousands of people pass by daily. It's sitting out here in the water in the Corte Madera Creek or Corte Madera Channel. Look at that. That's just really neat to be able to see something like this and the history that it, goes with it, which I don't know all the history on it. I do know that I visited abandoned train tunnels up north of this location, and they seem to be part of the same railroad system, the Northwest Pacific Railroad. Now let's look at that bar that's holding all those pieces of railroad track up. There's only 2 bolts in it, and it's bowing down a little bit under the weight of all that, old iron that's hanging from it. I'm sure that's pretty heavy. There's some cables there securing it, but I really don't think that I think there probably could have been a better way. I think they did that for balance of the bridge, knowing that it was going to remain open and the one side was heavier than the other. That's the only reason I could think of that they would do that. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just guessing. But look at all those old tracks on the other side too. It's pretty neat. Here comes some boat rowers in the right of the frame. I did do some live network coverage with my Phantom 4 Pro V2 month and a half ago or so for the Pac-12 racing. That was pretty fun. I got paid to do the footage for that. That was pretty neat. But anyway, let's kind of get a nice smooth shot around the bridge here. Look at this, man. I love this Mavic 2 Pro. It did act a little cuckoo today, and I'll tell you why later, which was a first for me, but I'll show you why later. But for now, let's enjoy this good smooth footage of gliding around the side of the bridge. It's really neat. Look at that length of that gear handle over there. That must have been some sort of safety release or something like that. I don't know. Ejection chair. Who knows what it did? A lot of times when I fly these bridges, you can find, it's full of graffiti always, but a lot of times you can find graffiti that's pretty dated just by what it says or, the pictures that are there or whatever. I don't see any dates on any of this right here, but I will share some neat stuff that I found later. in the video concerning graffiti. Now, one of the reasons I was going to say that the Phantom or the Mavic Pro 2 acted cuckoo today is if you see me way back there in the upper left corner of the frame, I took off from that structure and it's a lot of concrete and evidently there's a lot of metal in there. I kept getting calibration messages and I would have to recalibrate and it never would calibrate 100% correctly. It seemed like I would get a fail every time, but it didn't affect the flight of the drone. It was really a weird experience. At any rate, look at these bird nests and I'm not sure what kind they are. Probably the kind with wings. Anyway, I didn't see the birds in there, but there's a couple good sized nests there. Who knows? Really pretty though. Really pretty. You can see we got some little pockets of sun coming up here. Lights changing. There is a piece of graffiti there from 1989. What was I doing in 1989? Listening to Ozzy Osbourne and who knows what else. DT plus FR. And there's an AD there on the side. I don't know if that was a later edition. Maybe they were all dating each other. I don't know. But look at all those rivets, man. And you've got Sir Francis Drake Boulevard right there in the back, and that's going down to 101. You can catch 101 South right there. We're going to look down toward the water here and just kind of get an idea of what, all the workings of this bridge look like as far as the wheels and the gears and things like that. The reason I went down and then I went back up is because I was getting a weird bit of vibration in my controller and it kept saying obstacle. I fly with obstacle avoidance off, but I know there's no obstacle here because I already looked with binoculars before just to make sure there were no wires or anything before I flew this. And in my visual line of sight, I didn't see anything at all. So the drone did give me some quirkiness today and I brought it back when I changed the battery and then it went through an update, which was weird because I had already updated this morning before I left to do the shoot. So it did act a little cuckoo today, but all in all, it was a great flight. Got some great footage you can see here. Look at all this, rusty, gritty, the concrete's falling apart. There's a rope tied off to the middle of the shaft there. That might be for people to pull themselves up on a boat and spray paint graffiti or just sit up there, chill and drink a beer. Who knows? But time has not been kind to this. And fortunately, the Mavic Pro 2, it does do a lot better job around metal than the Phantom 4, and so I did get to fly really close to this bridge today, and it was really fun. I had a really good time doing it. Some graffiti from 2002 in the upper part of the frame there. Look at those geared teeth. Pretty neat. All that old steel and iron. People touched that. Every piece of that bridge was touched by human hands. It's crazy. There's Stonky, whoever that was. They put their name on there. Stonky. 2002. There's some dated graffiti on here. But, and I think that rope is hanging there so people could pull themselves up on there and probably just chill or something from a boat or inner tube or whatever. Who knows? But look at all those wheels and I would say drive lines, but there's no, there's no engine to drive power. It was a manual bridge. So I guess they could still be drive lines, but all the old railing and wood is just crumbling and rusting and it's just falling apart over time, I don't know when or if they're going to take this part of the bridge out of the water. It's not really hurting anybody, but it's odd because there is so much new stuff built up all the way around this. And you're going to see later when I show you another shot just how all the new things surround this one old thing. It's kind of a neat juxtaposition, kind of cool looking scene. I'll show you later. But look at the wood all falling down and rails crumbling. Really pretty. It was just really such a peaceful morning here, and I anticipated there being more people. I always try to go do these things early because I just don't want the interaction with the people, because you just never know how that's gonna go. And then I'm trying to watch the drone, and I'm trying to, you know, do a video, and you know, so I try to do these things early and get the good light. And I shot this. Well, the Mavic Pro 2 is, you know, 4K 30, and so that's what we shot this at. I had a CPL on here. I think I shot it at f4. And later when I come up over the bridge, you'll see the muddy, there's like a muddy boundary around the bridge that's a different color than the rest of the water. But look, we're getting really close. I mean, with this drone. And I could have gotten closer, but it wasn't necessary. Look how cool that is, all those gears. And according to some of the information that I read, like on Bridge Hunter, it would take 5 men to manually open and close the bridge. And it was only on certain days of the week. We'll go over that later. The actual sign shows the hours of operation for the bridge, and there's a phone number on there too. We'll look at that here in a little bit. I think that box to the left, it was some sort of weather covering for whatever was on that deck plate. I don't know what it was. Some type of, I don't think it was a motor, but they said it was a manual bridge, but it could have been a motor for something else. I'm not sure. There is a power pole to the left of the bridge. Maybe that brought power into it from somewhere. Look at those pretty sunbursts coming up in the left of the frame there. Try to keep the sun directly out of the frame and keep the camera facing down so we don't get any super blown out parts of the image. But I do want to include a few of those sunbursts because they look really nice. Little bad apple there. Some of the graffiti, up never down and clown, and graffiti never makes sense to me. But look at those sunbursts. Ooh, sun flares, sunbursts. Nice looking, man. All the way out there to the bay. Back out that way. Well, more to the left of the frame would be the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge, and then far out there to the right would be Golden Gate. But this is just the bay right here. It's just really nice. Beautiful sun coming up. Nice reflection on the water. Just a pretty morning. The drone is such a great way to be able to explore things around you. It's just really, really a awesome tool to help you see what's going on in your city, your country, your town, wherever you live. It's just a great way to explore. I really am happy that I, started getting into drones. Just another layer of the photography that I've been doing for years. The drones just really complement it. I love it. Alley is cool. Says whoever wrote that. I may not agree. Some of that graffiti is so old, it's just, you can't even read it anymore. Awesome. Wet. That's original. I'm not sure what that says. Some sort of varsity or something. Varsity men. 2JC or something. I don't know. But you could see me way back there in the middle of the two pieces of the bridge there on the rail, flying the drone with my vest on. Hard to miss me with the vest. But I wear that, like I said in the beginning of the video, whenever I'm going to be around people, or when I find that if you wear a vest and I've got my logo on the back, people tend to leave you alone because you look like you know what you're doing. So they don't tend to bother you. But then I do have a little body cam that I wear also that if I do get some interactions with people that aren't favorable, I've got that footage recorded if I ever need to go back to it. But see how everything is so new around this bridge? All the on-ramps and off-ramps and curves and bike ramps and buildings. And here sits this old piece of bridge from the 1930s. You know, and then back behind me there was a second part of the bridge that was removed in 2000 something, 3 or something, I don't know, that they removed. And you can see down there at the bottom of the concrete of the bridge, an old wheel and some other safety mechanisms. Here comes the coxswain for the rowing team. I think that's the Marin rowing team that's coming through there. You can see them over there to the side. One more time over the top here, because I can. Look at those tracks. And I don't know what tracks lead up to those old ones, if the ones that lead up to it are newer or they're old also. But when I look at that, it's really cool, man. All that concrete structure that I'm standing on back there, I think that did play a part in giving my drone those calibrate error messages, because I had to calibrate about 6 times and it still wouldn't hardly do it. Let's take a look at this bridge openings. This is really cool. Right here, and it has a phone number on here, and I called the phone number today and it's out of service. But it's weird because the number is a Petaluma area code, and this is in, you know, Larkspur, Green Bay area. So it's kind of, maybe that's whoever operated the bridge had a Petaluma number. I don't know. But it shows that the bridge opened from May through October, and you'd call 24 hours in advance before you could go through during normal business hours. And yeah, on weekends and holidays. Look at that. We'll get a little bit closer to it. It's all faded, but you can still make out what it says. Pretty cool. Like I say, for fun, I dialed the number, but I didn't get a hold of anybody. If I did get a hold of somebody, I don't even know what I would have said. There's some 2010 graffiti on there. You can really see a lot of the old screens and the old barriers and stuff that still remain. The patterns from the old lumber that would, you know, go back and forth between the two steel beams there. Of course, that walkway looks pretty awesome, actually. I like it. I think it looks really cool. Getting some good color from the sun as it breaks through the clouds on occasion. Had a good time flying this drone. Great morning, like I said, clear. I fly with obstacle avoidance off, and that radar really comes in handy. I did get more than I ever get as far as calibration errors, but everything flew right, everything performed right. We were like 15 satellites, everything was linked up nice and good. It's a beautiful morning. Had a great time. Appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe to the channel. Like I say, I use the drones and I fly around and explore the city and find cool things, man. I appreciate all the interactions. You guys take care. Here's me looking at you, looking at me. Take care.